not trying to look like I want anything.
Look forward, always. I always make sure that I'm not typing on my phone.
I don't walk around by myself at night.
I don't walk with headphones in. I usually stay very alert.
I walk a lot faster.
I pretty much try to avoid like being by myself.
I never really get drunk or anything. I try not to be too sexy or whatever.
Well, I don't think I've ever thought that before, of what I do or do not do.
Really don't think about that. I don't really worry about that.
Thankfully, I've not really been in a lot of situations where I've been nervous about that.
I think it's a socially learned thing, mostly.
Yeah, I think my whole sex education was being taught how to not be raped, / my whole life.
Going into college, it's usually a typical response.
I mean, there are even posters around our university at one point that were saying, like, girls, in order to not get raped or to prevent rape, make sure that you do this. I think it's all around us in society. I think we're taught from a very young age that it's the girl's responsibility in order to not get raped.
I'm always super careful about how I dress. I don't wear leggings because I don't want men to stare at my butt.
Growing up, I always tried to wear like higher necklines so as not to like show off any cleavage.
I have a very vivid memory of middle school. I was literally wearing a sweatshirt and this guy was like, "Oh, Ellie." And he grabbed my like collar of my sweatshirt and like pulled it away from me, you know, so he could like see down my shirt. And so it's like, even if I'm wearing something that's like covering like literally every inch of skin, like neck down, I'm literally still gonna get sexualized because I've always had bigger breasts.
Fighting or boys like picking on girls,
like pushing a girl down or like getting in fights.
When guys will like talk about I guess a female in a sexualizing way.
Pursuing somebody sexually who was not interested.
When they are making cracks about women's butts.
Grabbing a woman by her pussy.
I've heard people like excuse that behavior because of the fact they have raging hormones and they have more of a sex drive than women, which...
Especially in high school, because again, like we had dress codes where we weren't allowed to wear things because, you know, boys can't control themselves.
Assertive.
Heterosexual.
There's a pressure in the gay community to be as straight as you can.
Interested in women.
Like sexual prowess. There's like this sense of entitlement.
Forceful.
have dominant roles.
Sexual.
Aggressive, wearing the pants.
To be emotionless.
It's like anger. Refrain from expressing emotions completely.
Being able to get women.
Kind of go for whatever they want and to be demanding.
It's not very emotional unless that emotion is like anger or like beating people up.
Be pure and be chaste.
I think passive.
To be pure and chaste.
Sex objects. Attractive and available for men.
And to be attractive to men and for men to want me, but I'm also expected to not pursue men or want men in that sexual way. I'm not supposed to want things sexually. enjoy things, not have to look around me all the time.
I would do a lot of things by myself.
Less worried when I am getting intimate with a guy that like they're gonna respect my boundaries.
I think I would feel more free to dress the way I wanted to or like act the way I wanted to.
If I went on a date with someone, I wouldn't be like so, if I didn't know them beforehand, being like super worried about what could happen. And even sometimes when you do know them beforehand, being worried of what they might do.
I guess it's just not having to overanalyze like everyday situations.
It's such a horrible topic that some people don't want to talk about it.
Like we need education on that. Rape happens most often between two people who really know each other.
I think it starts with teaching kids at a young age, you know, there's no right or wrong way to be a man or a woman.
Just any situation that you're in, if there's something that further establishes those gender roles, addressing it and maybe calling out that phrase or that saying.
Recognize that like men can be in jeopardy, women can be in jeopardy, in all sorts of situations.
We need to start holding everyone accountable.
I would ask that the good men stand up and be active.
Personal reflection to kind of tear down these things that are so ingrained in us.
Any instance of disrespect to a woman that dehumanizes her in any way should be immediately shut down. Just shut it down.
Starting with how are men, or how am I specifically viewing women, thinking about women, thinking about a partner, and how does that connect with the overall discussion of what rape culture means.
It doesn't matter where they are, what they're doing, what they're wearing.
We need to teach little boys that it's not okay to rape instead of teaching little girls like how not to get raped, and kind of reworking, you know, our definitions of what masculinity is versus what is femininity, and
talking about consent and what consent means, and that yes means yes, and that is the only answer, and that you need that answer every time.
Stop victim blaming. Stop letting men and boys get away with the things they get away with.
So even the smallest comment from your friend can be corrected by you saying, hey, that's actually not okay, which sometimes is harsh, but that's fine. It's okay to be harsh about things that are important.